All right, welcome to the first video of 2023. Let me just move this computer out of the way first. And this video will have nothing to do with computers, but instead upgrading Powerwheels motors and gearboxes. So I don't think I featured it on the channel before, but I had found a Powerwheels Mustang about 2005-ish in my old condo, or before I moved out here 3 years ago now. Someone threw it into the garbage. So I took it home, cleaned it up, painted it, modded it. It's ridiculous. It's going to get its own video. But I just wanted to make it go a little faster. So I looked online. I found a couple resources. And I also got various parts here and there from different places. We'll go through all of that later. But the main source of parts, I suppose, is a website called ML Toys. And right off the bat, I'm going to say, I don't know, the owner's hard to communicate with. I don't know his name. He didn't sign any of his emails. Doesn't really answer questions. Kind of tries to bully you into, just buy the whole kit. Don't buy little pieces here and there. I don't know. He seems paranoid. Maybe he's afraid that his, sales are going to go somewhere if he asks too many questions. I wasn't really impressed. On top of that, I lost one of these screws for the motor, and I had emailed him, and I said, hey, I need this other piece too. If you have them, let me know. And he didn't even bother linking it. So it's like you could have made a sale if you just said, hey, we do sell these screws. It just doesn't seem like he cares. So overall, I would say I don't recommend it, especially because with shipping to Canada, I got two of these gears, and it came with these bearings, which I don't know where they are right now. I had a collar, and I bought a couple other little things. And yeah, it was like $160. So yeah, what you do get is a very nice, I believe it's 72 teeth here, and the inside is 26. It's an exact replica of the nylon gear that goes in there. Two problems. The gears I needed to bore this out to just over 3/8, so I can fit over the shaft of a number 7 gearbox. And I don't know where Anyways, the 7R gearbox comes with these, the main shaft here. Let's just actually have a look at it. Let's pop this off here. I'm bring that closer to the camera there. So this shaft is a lot thicker in the old 7 gearboxes than they are in the 7Rs. Actually, contrary to what ML Toy says, I actually think this is quite a decent gearbox. I'm not a structural engineer. I'm not a mechanical engineer. I'm not an electrical engineer. But I have rebuilt engines, swapped transmissions, owned 50 plus cars over the last quarter century. So yeah, I mean, judge for yourselves. But that's just where my background's from. And yeah, so basically this is the gear that I got. I had to drill that out to 3/8. But like I said, what you do get is a nice. It's heavy, and yeah, it's noticeable when you take it all apart. So the prep work for this was I had to, like I said, bore that out to 3/8, and then we'll take all this stuff apart. Try not to make a mess of this desk because it is more or less for computer use, but okay. So this is the original nylon gear, which is way lighter, and this is the metal gear. Now, for what I'm doing, I don't really think I need this giant metal gear, but whatever. My parents said, we'll pay for half of it because it's kiddo's birthday, so sure, I suppose. But yeah, this required a lot of modifications to get working in this gearbox. So yeah, buyer beware. And again, the ML Toys didn't say anything. He knew what I was doing. I had told him, I had shown him pictures of this gearbox. Just seems like it was just malicious compliance, whatever. Here, take it and deal with it. Kind of. I'm not happy with the attitude at all. Now let's look at the motors. So this is the stock motor, 21 teeth. Works fine. This is a new motor that I had purchased elsewhere because you can do that. You don't have to buy all your stuff from ML Toys because their prices are frankly quite inflated. So I went out and got this motor, two of them, 23,000 RPM from AliExpress. I don't know, it was $20, I think. Another thing is that I ordered a hardened. So this is hardened steel. Trust me, it's hardened steel. It's. I will say that this quality, this part is good quality. So is this. Now the only problem is the diameter of the pinion gear is the shaft is 3 millimeters. It definitely is. I'm not even going to measure it. It is, but the diameter of the hole in the pinion gear is 4.45, like five. Like it's 2 more mil. So I mean, how did I get this gear on here? Well, this motor came to me from AliExpress with, I think it had like 16 or 17 teeth, completely incompatible. But I just wired up some wires, connected it to a battery, let it free spin, and then held it against a rock grinder. Kept doing that until this would start to slip on, and then I, got it on there. The other thing is these motors, stock motors, have a plastic nylon collar here. I had to cut that in half and then slip it over this, and then glue it back on. So this is the final solution. This is a 23,000 RPM motor with 23 teeth. This is a 15,000 RPM motor with 21 teeth. So let's quickly go and put this together. So what we have to do is put this metal gear on first, but we're going to grease it. And I have some of this. This is Lucas oil, like that stringy kind of grease, which is good because this is going to be basically be metal on metal contact if this grease isn't here. Now, I'll go on to explain how I propose to do lubrication to this in the future without taking apart the gearbox. So that's in. It spins rather nicely. It's a good quality gear. Nothing wrong with that. Then we're going to put in the second, third, and fourth gear, and it all spins rather nicely. So this grease is sticky. It may actually, crap, I have nothing to wipe my hand with. The sticky grease may cause a bit of initially, until it breaks in, a bit of lag, not lag, but like resistance, right? So keep that in mind. Secondarily, yeah, after you've got your pinion on there, you can put it in. I'm not going to bother in this demonstration, but it goes right in. The only thing I'm going to point out is that because, let's set that to origin, that the original 21 tooth gear looks like 18.6 mil, and this one is 19.8, so it's quite a bit bigger. The diameter is larger. So what you have to do, if you just put that in there in the stock holes, it's gonna put a lot of pressure on this gear, and it's gonna make a lot of resistance. So what I did is I just took a drill with a drill bit, basically the size of these screw holes, because they have 2 bolts, number 3 and 3 bolts that go in and secure this to that, and then actually, and there they are. Here's one of them. Right, so this bolt goes right through the whole assembly into the motor, and then tightens that up. So what I have to do is just use a drill as an end mill. This is plastic, and then just drill them back a bit, and I had to do that until I wasn't gnashing the teeth against each other. There's a bit of you don't want them to be. It's like in a differential. You don't want the gears to be stuck or differential, or even a steering gearbox, if you're old enough to remember those. You don't want them to be crushing into each other, so you gotta have a little bit of play in there. So that's how I accomplished that. So what I will now demonstrate is, you've probably noticed that, yeah, it's the nylon gear. The original nylon gear is a hexagonal cut, so there are spots for oil and grease to pass through there. And there is a slight bit of play. Now, there is a tiny bit of play in here because I decided to do that so that the grease can, eventually go in there. And this is not a motor. This is not a transmission. It's not going to overheat. It's not. But, every once in a while, you're going to have to re-grease that. So in order to facilitate something like that, I have added a grease nipple fitting on the hole that is just underneath this shaft. So basically, you put all this together now. The shafts line up. Everything's connected. And I have to figure out a maintenance interval for this. But I think maybe every 20 hours, just plop a tiny bit of grease in there, and it'll go into the shaft, and you'll be good. So that is basically it for this video. Oh, one other thing. Yes. So with the higher output motors, they spin faster. This is 12 volts. That's 12 volts. I'm not doing any 18, 24 volt stuff at this time, or probably ever, if I'm honest. You get these cooling fins. You can put them on like this, and then I also have a thermal sensor with probes that I'm going to epoxy into one of these teeth so I can monitor the heat of these motors on the dashboard of the car. So these on ML Toys are $10 US plus shipping. If you're smart, you'll get these off AliExpress for $2.61 Canadian shipped to your door. I mean, obviously, if you US dollars, it'll be even less than that. But yeah. And the sensor, the temperature readout was, I can't remember how much it was on site there, 10 or 15, $4, 10 or 15 US, and then $4 shipped to my door. So yeah, that site's hard to navigate. A bunch of pages are broken. I don't know. I don't really think that in my particular case I needed these gears, but you know, maybe in the future. I mean, kiddo's gonna have what? I mean, you can't. Your kids are gonna grow out of this thing faster than you think, right? So yeah, I mean, unless I have another one, then I guess I future-proof this. But the Metal Gear is nice. It's noisier. You will notice that right off the bat. It sounds like a root-style supercharger. You can hear the gears like kind of grinding into each other, or maybe not a root supercharger so much as you would have a chain-driven cam on a V8, right? Like the gear drive cams. It's got a special whine to it, so you'll notice that too. These are louder. Do they spin faster? I don't have the ability to demo them right now, but I did upstairs in my garage. And yeah, they do spin noticeably faster. I don't have an RPM gauge, but I hooked up one motor to the original 21 teeth and one to the 23 teeth, and put a piece of wire with a tape on it, and just watch them go. And I mean, the one with the larger motor and better gear does work faster. So yes, at the end of the day, you can make it faster. But I would strongly recommend trying to find an alternative for that gear because it's expensive. And if you ask too many questions, the owner will come back at you of ML Toys and say like, oh, you didn't watch our videos. You don't know what you're doing. Fear mongering. And like the guy thinks he's an expert. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I made it work with other parts for cheaper. So don't know. Do I recommend them? No. Would you get your parts better from somewhere else? Yes. Do I know where to get such a 72 tooth gear that was cut like that? I do not. So, it's a niche hobby. At the end of the day, it's all about enjoying it, having fun. I'm having an amazing time building it. My kid is learning how all this stuff works. And yeah, his vehicle will be demoed soon. And that's it for now. I'm going to go mount these motors in, put the shaft in together. I got this collar from ML Toys as well. I think it was $4, not bad. This will be used to attach the shaft on one side and put the wheels onto the gearboxes and all that other stuff. So yeah, that is all. I'll see you guys next time.